Hey, this is Mikey with another After Effects video. I want to talk about the new features of After Effects version 13.5. Now by now, hopefully you saw the announcement from Adobe that they have a brand new version of After Effects that they're announcing. 13.5, they're announcing this for NAB, which is starting this weekend. And they've got some great new features in it. I'm not going to go over every single new feature, but I am going to go over some of the biggest ones and things that I think are just really incredible. So first off, the big feature, let's talk about that one first, is rendering independence, real-time previewing, whatever they're calling it. Basically what that means is what happens here in the composition window isn't affected by what happens everywhere else. So let me show you an example. So here I have just a quick animation. It says After Effects and it's moving around. Now in any other previous version of After Effects, if I click anywhere, that animation will stop. In this version, nope. I can move around and it's not going to change anything. I can come in to the text, to the transform. I can rotate this. There, it just automatically updated. I can change the opacity and I can just do all sorts of stuff. I can add effects to this. So let's add, say, just like a warp. Drag it, drop it right down on there, and there it is, the warp. We can add, different effects to it, and pretty cool. Let's change that rotation back to 0, and let's see how many different effects we can throw at this thing, and how slow it's slowing down quite a bit, but it's still playing. It's not stopping. Let's go into some just stylize. So let's come down to stylize. And let's roughen the edges. And maybe do some mosaic. Okay, let's bring that up so we can. So still rendering. I've got quite a bit of effects on here that are good processor intensive, and it just keeps on going. It's a little slow, but that's fine. And you can see here it's caching the RAM, and it's not quite done yet, and it is now. So there we go. Now it's real time. So it'll just keep on playing in the background until it's all cached to RAM, and then everything's good. So really kind of a cool thing. And with that, the way that the preview works with the spacebar is different. So let me just hit pause. And what we have over here in this preview window now is it's a lot bigger of a window, and there's missing the RAM preview button because there is no RAM preview anymore. Just the spacebar is what you do for RAM preview. That's what you want anyways for most of the time, is you hit spacebar and you want it to RAM preview. And so it's been kind of combined into one, because if I hit spacebar, it will act like the old spacebar did, where it'll just play, but at the same time it's caching in the background, and it'll just automatically loop. Pretty cool. And if I don't like the way it works, I can come in here to the shortcut and change all of these different things to make it do exactly what I want. And I can do that for the 0 on the num keypad, and also shift 0 as well. I can do all that, and if I mess it up royally, well, then I can come in here and just hit that reset. And if I want to, if I hold down Option click, it'll reset it back to the classic defaults in the previous versions of After Effects. If for any reason you're playing around with this and you're like, I don't like the way this works, well, you can just hit Option reset, and it'll bring it back to the way it worked before. That is composition independent processing, whatever they're calling it, real-time previews, I think, and really, really, really cool stuff. So the next thing I want to talk about is After Effects libraries. So right here you can see I have this library, and I can create a new library, and or I have other ones here. And what this is it's a commonplace throughout the different throughout the different Adobe programs to be able to use and store graphics and things like that. So if I'm an illustrator, I can save a graphic to the library, and then I can use it in Photoshop, I can use it in After Effects and things like that, and I can just pull it up here. Really kind of a cool way of sharing assets through different projects. Another thing that I think is really cool is right now, if I go into my Creative Cloud app, go into the assets, I can find things in here, and if I see something I like, oh, I need a snowflake. Well, let's go ahead and download that to my library. And then it'll download and it'll sync right there. You can see simple snowflake. And boom, there it is. So to add that to my project, I just right click, click import. And now I've got a snowflake for my project. So that is libraries. Really cool. Lots of cool stuff that you can do with this, and I think it's just going to get better and better as they add more functionality, but it's a really amazing first step. Now there's just two more things I want to show you, and then I'll be done with the video. First thing I want to show you is there's a new tracker. So this is really the only new filter or plugin or effect into this version of After Effects. Everything else is just behind the scenes things, making things, your workflow and things like that work faster. This is a new thing you can do. It's a face tracker. So if I were to just add a quick mask around her face, and when you add a mask, the tracker will automatically switch to the mask tracker. If I deselect the mask, it's the normal tracker. If I select the mask, it switches right here to the mask tracker. Pretty cool. But you can see here that there's face tracking. So the position, rotation, perspective, all these ones up here that start with a P, apparently, are the old mask tracker. Face tracking and face tracking with detailed features is the new one. So let's just do the detailed features, because the only difference is the face tracking is just going to do the outline. So we'll go ahead and do the detailed features so you can see that. You can see this set rest pose. So say for instance that the beginning of the clip she's like this with her head tilted. That's not a rest pose. So where she's straight at the camera, that's more like a rest pose. So I'm going to set that rest pose. And then let's just track through this. And you could see immediately it went in and outlined the face. And we've got these points on the eyebrows, on the eyes, the bridge of the nose, and things like that. And it's going to give us all this data that we can use and work with. Okay. So there is a track of a face. Pretty cool. We can see we've got all of this data here, and these are just keyframes. So I can come in and copy and paste these keyframes wherever I want. Or link to them through pick whipping, things like that. And then, really cool. And also, if I want to just use this, let's add an effect to this. Color correction. Let's just, brighten up her face a little bit. And then if I come down into the effects, into the curves, and then right here, compositing options, hit plus. And it's going to bring in that mask that I just tracked. And you can see now we've got just that right there on her face. Of course, we'll want to feather that. And this is not at all the look I want. But you get the picture. You can do some cool stuff. So that's the mask tracker. And I'm excited to play around with that more and maybe create some cool tutorials based around that. And the last thing I want to talk about is with the mask tracker, that was developed for another program that is now coming with Creative Cloud and with After Effects, and it's called Character Animator. Character Animator can be accessed through After Effects. So if I come up here to File, open Adobe Character Animator, and it opens it up, and what we have, you can see up in this corner, it's tracking my face through the webcam, and it's also listening to my voice. And let me move this because it can also track my mouth. See the dots all over my mouth, and and you can see I'm winking. So there's a lot you can do. This is a huge program. This could turn into its very own tutorial channel just on its own, just using this program. But I'm going to dive deeper into this later on. I just wanted to show it to you and what it can do. Some cool tracking. You can make it so it snows and all these things is automatically animated. There's different behaviors. It's all behavioral based, and so there's really you're not keyframing anything. It'll just, you can set it up and it works and it tracks, and it's really, really cool. So that is Character Animator. And then after you're done, you just export it out of here and you have a video file. So what do you think of the new updates to After Effects? I'd love to know your thoughts. And if you have any questions, just ask me. And if I can answer them, I will. And if I can't, then, well, I'll direct you over to Adobe. This is very new, just announced, and so they have a lot more better answers than I do. But I'll try to do my best to answer your questions if you have them. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.